Marge, Lisa, I have some horrible, bone-chilling news. I seem to have misplaced my copy of New Thunderbolts issue 1. I can't find it. I wanted to review it today, but I can't find it. What will have happened is what always happens. I got it out to review before, and then never reviewed it. And it wound up mixed in with my infamous pile of comics I call my shit pile. A 3 to 4 foot pile of comics that I didn't care about enough to put anywhere else. There were a lot of comments over the weekend on Thunderbolts videos, so I wanted to do the issue that started it all for me, but I couldn't find it. So here is the issue that ended it all for me, I suppose. This is Thunderbolts 175, which I am not even bothering to call Dark Avengers. This was when Marvel renamed the series, and I am pretty confident they renamed it because they wanted it to die. They rename it mid-story. They inject characters that legitimately nobody cared about. Besides Hulk's son, he had fans. They otherwise derail a series that consistently sold steady numbers. Not huge numbers. It sold about 40k every month, maybe just below that. It didn't lose much month to month. It would maybe shed 1k of sales in a year. Respectable turnout, really. This was firmly in the period where I was close to tapping out of Marvel Comics. I was eating everything they were doing, and I mean absolutely everything. This rebranding and retooling was not very welcome to me, but I saw it through to the end because Jeff Parkman was still writing, and I thought if anyone could make these bad characters work, it would be him. As I said though, we are mid-story. The decision to revamp this and keep the original numbering, to revamp this mid-story and keep the original numbering, it really reeks of wanting to kill this, rather than wanting to attract new readers with this new direction and new iteration. The story that we are in the middle of is also a story that, at the time, was testing a lot of readers' patience. I would say unfairly, because in retrospect, it was nowhere near as long as it felt like it was. We are doing the Thunderbolts' very own version of Cross-Time Caper. The team have gone missing in the time stream, and they are visiting different time periods. And right now, in the present, we are seeing Luke Cage's and Hank Gordon trying to use Swamp Thing's swamp to locate the time-displaced team. I have some things to explain, obviously. Cross-Time Caper was an Excalibur storyline, famous for going on for fucking ever. For not just making a lot of readers quit the series, but for making the artist quit the series too. Cross-Time Caper ultimately had no point. It was Excalibur visiting different alternative realities and doing very little except setting up a joke or two. It went on for about 20 issues. It's so infamous that I and others took to using cross-time caper to describe stories. Thunderbolts had their cross-time caper starting with 163. And straight away I want to say that in Thunderbolts it had a lot more purpose than in Excalibur. The story was that disgraced Thunderbolts member Fister, rather than face the judgment of Songirl and Mark, real name Abe, staged an escape via time travel, and he sprung some of the other members of the team with him. This also allowed Fister to live out something that Jeff Parkman had set up throughout his run. Fister wanted to be respected enough that he would be made leader of the team, but he was never good enough. And Songirl and Mark, real name Abe, were always better than him. So now Fister, he has a team that are indebted to him, and they are all on a cross-time caper. They visit different time periods like World War II, Victorian London, medieval times. Jeff Parkman is a good writer, so it is never as stupid and infuriating as when Excalibur did it, but it was going on for a long time, and it meant that the book was often off in a corner where some of the main characters no longer mattered because they didn't go travelling in time with them. So, by my count, this is 12 issues into this cross-time caper. I think it was actually called The Great Escape. But yeah, Songirl and Mark, real name Abe, they aren't with the team that went back in time. Luke Cage's didn't go back in time either. Juggernaut didn't. Shockster didn't. Actually, Shockster isn't in the series anymore. Fat Lord of Good winning that fan vote did for him, eh? There was also Casper. Casper didn't go with them either, but then they managed to send Casper back in time to join the others in a very convoluted way. But obviously this team in the present, or what is left of them, they weren't doing much besides looking for a way to bring the others back. And so now they get these bad characters forced on them. And I have to explain them all. And explaining them won't be hard because they are all nothing burgers. We have Robot 4. He is the one with the most history here. This is the Robot 4 from Civil Wars. The one that killed Black Giant Man. The one that Robert Downton Abbey Jr. made from his friend Thor's DNA because he wanted a Thor he could control. The one that Hercules Man canonically destroyed. Nobody liked this character. It wasn't a character really. It was a plot device. But then Michael Bryan Benson brought him back. That's the other thing. This entire team of new characters is more Michael Bryan Benson contamination. Trying to relive his past glories. Michael Bryan Benson introduced a new Dark Avengers team. And it was this team, and nobody cared. And now we have to suffer them taking over Thunderbolts, because Michael Bryan Benson is a god who improves every comic with his shit characters and rehashed ideas. The one with the bow and arrow is shit shot. This is actually Hawkeye's brother. Yes, the one who died in his one Silver Age appearance. One of Michael Bryan Benson's friends, who only get work because they are his friends, reintroduced them as a supervillain in an OK Hawkeye story. He is one of the less obviously shit characters here. Then we have the woman. There's no other way to describe her. Charlotte Bitch, I guess, is the Charlotte Bitch Planet. There we go. That is her name. She was created by Mary Sue DeConnick. The if you don't like my politics, don't buy my comics one. The idiot who made Captain Marbles, the shit one, Smelly Brie Larson's. Terrible, shallow, feminist idiot who needs to give every character she writes amnesia because she doesn't want to read any of their comics as research. She is again one of Michael Bryan Benson's friends. Benson adopted this character, as he often does with characters, and had her dress like Charlotte Witch for no reason. It's never explained. She is a scientist. She is not a sorceress. She has no connection to Charlotte Witch. She had 2 appearances before this, and that is true of the next character as well. What you are seeing is the equivalent of nepotism with comic book characters. Benson touched them. Benson liked them. Benson wants his friends' characters to be important. So now poor Thunderbolts fans have to suffer them. Also, she fucked Norman Osborn. That was her whole character. Feminist. Lastly, we have this spider prick. Fucking shit. This is meant to be a spider god, also created by Mary Sue DeConnick. Benson had them dress as Spider-Man. Again, no explanation to why this character would dress as Spider-Man. No explanation to why this character would answer to Norman Osborn. And this is the worst character here on a plate of really shit characters. Jeff Parkman does manage to bring some life to Shitshot and Charlotte Bitch Planet. They nearly feel like they are worthwhile. Well, this is really awful. 4 characters nobody cares about or even likes. 4 characters that have no reason for being on this team. They have no desire to actually redeem themselves. 4 characters without any character, forced into the role of dethroning the long-lived stars of the series. And what follows is a scene that you would expect. The new characters easily one-upping Luke Cage's in a fight, and the other 2 members getting creamed as well. I remember hating this so much when it came out. I didn't mind it as much now, but you really couldn't get away from Michael Bryan Benson or his influence and his horrific version of the Marvel Universe. If it wasn't a terrible crossover event spearheaded by Benson, it was the pedestal that his characters or his friends' characters were placed upon. Why spotlight popular characters or fan favourites when you can spotlight Benson characters? I mean, shit shot, he is the only one here I think has any point been anywhere near any Thunderbolts series. He is Hawkeye's brother, so there is that connection. His introductory story, or his reintroductory story, involved Baron Zero, and had a lot of Thunderbolts continuity, surprisingly. Something could be done with him here, but these are non-characters. They never had any personality. Robot 4 was fucking designed to not have any personality or character. Two of the others have had 2 appearances, and they were only ever handled by actually talentless writers. I do sing the praises of Jeff Parkman a lot. He was a true talent who really did belong on bigger titles. But even he can't work the magic to make anyone care about Robot 4 or Spider Prick. And this action scene, I will assume it was entirely mandated by editorial, because Jeff Parkman normally writes fantastic fights, and this is neither a fantastic fight or even a fight. It is rubbish characters walking all over actually popular characters. Our plot is that they are being forced onto the team by the government. The government are fed up of the Thunderbolts, and so they have this team. Dems the brakes. The government of Michael Bryan Benson says it ain't your series anymore. It belongs to these uncompelling losers now. Oh, and by the way, you still have that ongoing story with the time-travelling team. Don't worry, don't abandon that or resolve it. Keep it gannon so any new readers who actually want to read about these boring shit characters don't want to read the book because they can't fucking understand it. Last member of the team is Hulk's son. An actual hero with some grey area to him. This character has a decently long history. He had his own series for a while. He co-starred in Hulk series. He had a crossover. He was part of other crossovers. I thought he was a bit thin as a character, but he had his fans, unlike Spider Prick and Charlotte Bitch Planet. Hulk's son could be a great addition to the team if he didn't come with 4 other characters. Jeff Parkman writes good Hulks, and the cover gave away the final panel reveal of his involvement. This is a bigger turn-off to me than a cross-time caper. The utter decimation of a title to make Michael Bryan Benson still feel important. The book ends in a year. Thunderbolts have never succeeded to hold a title for long after this. No matter how much they deviate and break the idea of what Thunderbolts is about. Thunderbolts is about villains and their capacity to change or redeem themselves. Not Michael Bryan Benson's ego, not fucking Punisher and Dead Pills in a love triangle. Not silly Billy Hawkeye and Monica Rambeau or doofus people. Rest in peace, Thunderbolts. You had your time, and it was good. I'll rate that time 7 thumbs up.